Hello, everyone, and hope you're all having an amazing day or had an amazing day, depending on your current time zone. And for those guys that celebrate, happy Halloween! Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my daughter's recent appointment with her GI surgeon. We haven't seen him since 2023, which is a year after she got her initial cyst drainage. So she ended up draining her cyst from her pancreas. And what we ended up doing was obviously you go, and you do the follow up. It wasn't a year later, it was in the following year, it was just a couple of months later. But after that, whenever we would try to get a hold of that GI surgeon specifically, it was months and months and months. We just could not get a hold of him. So we ended up going back to our GI doctor. We ended up going to our hematologist. It was just a series of doctors and trying to locate this specific surgeon, which was insane. We finally found him again, and we ended up finally getting an appointment now in 2025. And we finally saw him on the 29th, which is great that we saw him, but I wish we had been seeing him or were seeing him on an annual basis. So last year, her cyst was about 1 centimeter. So when she did the drainage, obviously it was great. We got it, cleared out of her system for a little bit, but we knew that it was going to be coming back. We didn't know if it was going to come back rapidly. It was going to grow and then shrink and then grow, which is very common with these types of pancreatic cysts. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you some insight as to what we heard from the surgeon, what we're going to be doing going forward, and how we're going to be addressing it. So if you're interested in what we did up until the point of finally getting the appointment to now having to do another appointment and a follow-up, stick around. Hear our journey and hear our battles. And this is just one of the organs in my youngest daughter's body that has to be monitored. As you know, each of my girls have TSC, so it's definitely a marathon, not a sprint in this household. So welcome to those of you guys that are new to my channel. Welcome back to my seasoned subscribers. My name is Kathy, and on Mondays I do videos all about fashion, accessories, just fun things that I enjoy doing to keep my mind off of the second half of the week videos that are all about my two girls and their battles against two diseases. TSC and FSGS. TSC being tuberous sclerosis complex or tumors that can grow in any major organ throughout your body, and FSGS being a form of kidney disease that causes damage to the glomeruli, which can lead to kidney disease, kidney failure, or kidney transplant, depending on the disease's progression. So if you're interested in either or, please hit the little subscribe button and hit the little bell so you can be notified on all of my latest videos. And please don't forget to hit the like button and comment below. Let me know what you think of today's video. So don't forget to comment, guys, because I can use your support and help me with the algorithm, guys. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I am inching ever so close to the 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. Let's get started. Ooh, ooh. Okay. So let's start with the journey. So Alani got her pancreatic cyst drained back in 2022. It was in October, November timeframe. So it was pretty late in the year. Once she got the drainage done, obviously you have to go post surgery to see your surgeon, right, to follow up. So we went and we ended up, it was pretty easy to get the appointment done. So we ended up going back to see our doctor or our surgeon, and everything looked good, everything looked great. She did her scans and everything before we went to see him, and he felt really, really good that everything went exactly as it should have. Prior to that, though, we had to do a bunch of scans to make sure that it was a non-cancerous. Obviously, he wanted to make sure it was non-cancerous, so he did have to do a biopsy. So we did the biopsy. Everything went great. It was benign. So thank goodness, we were very fortunate. But still, we needed to get it drained because it was pretty big. And obviously, if you continue to go in that path and it continues to grow, it can cause obstruction. It can cause a lot of pain. It can cause bleeding. I mean, there's countless stuff. It can definitely mess with so many parts of your system because the pancreas is a key organ to your system. So with the pancreas, it pretty much controls your hormonal functions and controls a big majority of your digestive functions. So if you don't have a very good functioning pancreas, your life will be miserable. Let's be honest. All right, let's put it out there. in essence, Alani has had a lot of issues, but majority of her issues have been in her brain. So she has a SEGA in her brain, which if you follow my channel, you would know a little bit about. So the SEGA grew pretty big because we didn't catch it in time. It grew pretty big, but once we did catch it, we were fortunate enough to be able to get on a medication called everolimus, which has been supporting the shrinkage of the tumor, which we are very, very grateful for. And she's been doing great ever since we started her on everolimus. At one point, I thought she was going to have to get brain surgery. So very fortunate, very, very happy with the success of this medication, and whatever we have to do to make sure she stays on it, that's our journey. That's it. That's a lifelong medication. Okay, so with the pancreas though, the only reason we were able to catch the pancreas was because I've had her monitored for her kidney functions. Because every 3 weeks I check her levels just to make sure. I do a urinalysis here in the house, and we check her protein to make sure that it is in the normal range, which you can, by the way, if you are interested. I'll put a couple of examples on my links below. There's actually at-home kits that you can actually test yourself if you have any issues with kidneys. I really, really encourage you to at least keep track of it at home. If you see something might be off, like obviously they're not all perfect, but the Siemens is pretty on point, and I'll put the link on here. It's my favorite one. It's normally like literally like always like accurate. Every time I go to her kidney doctor just to check and make sure everything looks good, and I give them the samples of all the numbers that I had while I was at home, they are probably like 90% accurate, like literally like right there. So I recommend the Siemens one. So if you are interested in something like that, where you have kidney disease or some form of kidney disease, or you have family history of it, I would encourage you to keep track of your kidney function at home. Especially if you have a kid that is on certain medications that may cause kidney damage in some way or another, or you're on medication, then I also encourage you. And just to test yourself like once a month is not a bad thing. If you see something's off, then obviously make an appointment with your doctor, follow up with your doctor, and make sure that the numbers are accurate or maybe inaccurate. Because if they are accurate and you catch it early, more power to you. Anyone that has kidney disease that catches it early has a great chance of battling it and to keep your kidneys safe. So just don't wait. One thing about kidney damage is that the longer you wait, the harder it is to combat it, and then it can lead to something a lot worse. So take it from me. I learned the hard way, my first one, and I was able to combat it or help Lonnie combat it because I've learned, and I have a lot of practice, which I wish I didn't, and I don't wish that on any mom or any dad or any family member, period. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about her pancreas and what the journey was to get here. Again, like I was saying, it took a long time to finally get a hold of this surgeon. And the reason being is that because there was so much time lapse between 2023 and now, it was really hard for me to even find his name. I could not remember his name. I finally found his name based off of the system that was provided, or the information that was provided to my hematologist. She found his name. I got his name. I started doing research, and then I started contacting him again, and it took another month and a half to actually get an appointment. Once I put the appointment in, I had to wait 3 months to go see him. So that was another 4. So you're looking at about 4.5 more months on top of the 2 years that was already late in going to see him. So this surgeon is really busy, either really busy or really bad with appointments. The process itself is so annoying. I don't want to blast him out there, but okay, so I'll give you a little insight. So in order for you to make an appointment, you have to call into, it's like a call center almost. There's a number of people that answer the call, and then you have to give them the name of the doctor. They then in turn transfer you to another center that is in the hospital. It's not the actual people that are at the front desk. And then you have to give them specifics, and then they look in his calendar, which normally is about 5 months out, no matter what. But when I provided the emergency and the specifics, they were able to get me in 3.5 months. So I took it. I took it. We were looking to, I was thinking, I was almost like I'm at wit's end, and I was just like, I should just go get a new doctor. But you know how difficult that is? Whenever you are seeing a doctor and you're already comfortable with that doctor, and the doctor does a good job, especially if he or she does a good job, it's hard to just start over with a new doctor, especially if it's a surgeon. So it's really, really hard. So I stuck it through. I pushed through. I said, let's do this. Let's go see him. And we finally got in and we went to see him. Now, they were throwing a lot of information to me. So the concern for me was, okay, this is growing again, right? So what could it be? A lot of times, you start thinking the worst, right? Is it you're malignant? Is this cancerous? Is this something that, and I asked him, I said specifically, I was like, is there any concerns? Because they saw the ultrasound. He said, well, it grew about 2 to 3 centimeters. So it's about 2.5 centimeters right now since 2023. So obviously it grew. So he wants to make sure that there's no other concerns that they see. Like in ultrasound, you can't really see everything. So he told me, listen, I want you to go and take her to do an MRI with and without contrast. I said, okay. I was like, is there a concern? Do you see something that, he was like, no, I'm not concerned. This is more of, I want to make sure that there is nothing that I see in this CT to have any concerns. Sorry. So it's preemptive. He just wants to make sure there's nothing there. So I said, okay, so what do you think it is? He said, this more than likely is a pancreatic pseudocyst, which is benign. But you can also have nausea, bloating, stuff like that. And it also depends on how large it's going to get, whether it gets really large, whether it doesn't. A lot of times these cysts can grow and then shrink, grow and then shrink, and then you no longer need any further surgery. My concern is that it continues to grow like it did last time, and then, is drainage the only option at that point? Should we have to consider cutting a part of her pancreas to make sure that it no longer grows? And the problem with this cyst too is that where it's located, it's at the tail end of the pancreas, which is the worst spot to get surgery. So what are we watching for now at this point? Growth, whether there's any type of is it hard, right? We obviously don't want it hard. This is a fluid, so it is a fluid patch. Want to make sure there's nothing that the surgeon actually sees within that CT or that MRI that would cause any concerns. Obviously, if there are any concerns, then we have to take the next steps. So we're more than aware of that. We are ready to go. Whatever we need to do, obviously we want to take care of that. So the second part of this process was scheduling the MRI. Currently where we're located, there are several locations where you can go. Within our town, though, is very few and far in between. So whenever you have to schedule it, specifically for MRIs, the ultrasound's a lot quicker. MRIs take a lot longer, clearly so. And she has to do it with and without contrast. With contrast, it normally takes a little longer. So we ended up, the way it works normally, there is a close location that I love to go, and I go for whenever I have to do my breast exam, which I go once a year. It's really, really important to feel comfortable with the place that you go, especially when you're scheduling an MRI. So we ended up scheduling the MRI, but it's not until December 2nd. And the reason there was one in November, but it's like in November 20th, and it's at 3 o'clock. That was the only other option I had. Or December 20th at 3 o'clock. Yeah. No, that was at 7 p.m. That's right. And she cannot eat prior to this procedure. So I don't see 3 o'clock going very well for my daughter not eating all day. So yeah. And you have to drink a lot of water the day before, and they don't want you going to the bathroom until so yeah, it's just not an option for us. So I went with the 10 a.m. and it's located in the area. So it's not too far. It's like 5 minutes from us. The hard thing is, though, clearly is you don't want to have to wait, right? And when it comes to like MRIs or seeing surgeons around here, it really is a process. And I found myself trying to find a way to keep my patience and understanding, because obviously we're not the only people going to see the doctors or the surgeons. Clearly there is a number of people that need to see surgeons, plenty of people that need to see or GI surgeons, plenty of people that need to go get an MRI. So it's it's a respecting. Now the specific type of MRI that she needs to get, it's called the Let me make sure I say this right. The MRCP, routine MRI. So that's specific to like your pancreas and certain specific organs within the system. I apologize, but I know pancreas is part of that. I believe it's like your I believe it's your kidney, your pancreas. There's a couple of things in there that are part of that whole scan. So it's not specific to just stomach. It's specific to the specific organs that need to be in that, captured in there. So, and yeah, I mean, am I nervous? I know you're not asking specifically, I'm asking myself, but no matter what, even if the doctor, or no matter which doctor or whatever, whoever tells you he doesn't see anything of concern, you're always concerned, right? You're always worried. I'm always concerned. I'm always thinking, hey, how about if they see something? How about if something, and then here we go again. My issues are that every single time there's another issue that comes about, I feel like here comes another mountain that we have to climb. And it's just so frustrating. Sometimes it could be a little disheartening. I'm not disheartened at the whole thought of the MRI. It's just something else that I gotta worry about. Yeah, something else I gotta worry about. And I was worried for a little bit there too, that a lot of seeing all these companies laying off, and I'm thinking the whole time is like, always worried because we need insurance, and insurance is really, really important in our household. And just think about all the stuff that they're going through, and without that, it's just so I had that added stress. But it looks like we'll be okay right now. Fingers crossed from what I hear. But you never know, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, regardless, it's just you always got to keep a positive outlook when you're in this type of situation. And, being that we have so many journeys and so many battles, it's just the level of defeats that we've had in our past, because we've had plenty. It's definitely combated with the number of successes that we've had. So, either way, we're always going to keep fighting, even if we're like at our last possible where we feel like there's no way you can win, and you're completely on the down. But we've come out of those, and we've won a lot of those battles. So I'm still positive. I know that, I always got to keep positive, and I always got to remember that, they need me. My girls need me, and I need them, period. All right, guys, I hope this email, did I just say email? I did. I'm working too much. All right, guys, I hope this video finds you well. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you have an awesome Halloween if you do celebrate. If not, happy Friday. And thank you so much for taking the time out to check out my video. Please don't forget to subscribe. I can use every one of your support to help me continue to grow my channel. Thank you so much for those of you guys that do subscribe to my channel. I can't do this without you. I appreciate you. And please don't ever forget to focus through and evolve. Ciao.